Philip, welcome to you. These aren't face-to-face talks, are they? So how is the conversation happening at all?
Just picking up from that report on the suspicion between the two sides, I think can explain to a large extent why these talks today are not taking place face-to-face. If you think back to 2015, when the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the JCPOA, as it's called, which is better known as the Iranian nuclear deal, was first signed, there was a lot of suspicions on the side of the United States that Iran wouldn't play ball and that Iran was hiding its nuclear enrichment program, the building of centrifuges, and basically was only signing this as a way of trying to placate the United States, but would carry on with its own secret program behind the scenes. Now there's been a sort of change of policy. It's the United States that is being seen with suspicion by Iran, because the Iranians are saying, well, look, we abided by the deal. We signed it in 2015, and it was the United States which pulled out. So you can't trust the United States. And remember, the United States has always been seen as the great Satan by Iran ever since the fall of the Shah back in 1979 and the arrival of the Islamic regime in power with Ayatollah Khomeini. So there is terrible suspicion on both sides. And I think the Iranians are saying to themselves, well, look, OK, we might go back into this deal, but what will stop the United States from pulling out once again if they want to? So they're not meeting face to face. The talks are being overshadowed by three other people there, three other sides, the European Union with France, Britain and Germany, and also by Russia and also by China. So they will be talking to both sides, and there will be some shuttling between the corridors, between the different rooms, to see if there can be some kind of an agreement worked out.
OK, so some shuttle diplomacy happening there in Vienna. Now, if the US and Iran are to re-enter the 2015 nuclear deal, some pretty major obstacles will need to be overcome. What would you say are some of the main obstacles, Philip?
OK, well, the first one was the one I just mentioned, the trust or the distrust between the two sides. And that is quite a major obstacle which needs to be overcome. We're not expecting any kind of an agreement to be announced straight away from these talks. If the two sides can work out some kind of roadmap or a way forward, then other delegations will work behind the scenes, and maybe there will be some meetings between some officials from Iran and the United States, but it certainly won't be happening today. But we're talking about a long process forward. Second one is on sanctions, which the United States imposed on Iran back in 2018 when Donald Trump pulled out of the accord. I think there is a willingness on the part of Iran that those sanctions be lifted. 1,600 sanctions, more than double what Donald Trump imposed. It's going to be complicated for the United States to do that because they need to go via Congress for quite a few of those sanctions to be lifted. So it's not going to be easy for them to move forward. That might also stop the deal from materializing anytime soon. And the third one is the upcoming elections in Iran, because the outgoing president, Rouhani, and the foreign minister, Javad Zarif, were both in favor of the nuclear agreement. They both signed it in 2015, but President Rouhani can't run for a new term in office. And the hardliners behind the scene don't like that accord, don't want to go back into it, because they say, well, look, for 3 years we've been out of this accord. We don't need to go back into it again. We can do what we like. And a few more months isn't going to make any difference.
OK, well, thank you very much indeed for your analysis. Our foreign editor, Philip Turle, thank you very much indeed.